I recording in the morning, and it's start to be end of July 2022, and I live in Sweden, and my name is Eva, and my short name is Virginius. And I had a visit this night. There come a man, and he was not talking to me. I only knew who he was, and he maybe talked to me, but I didn't remember, or else he didn't say anything. But I know I had a visit of him, and I wake up after he enter in, and I go to the bathroom, and then I go back again, and when I fall to sleep the second time, he was there again, and I don't know if he said something. I only remember that he was enter in, and he enter in like a door behind him, and he is famous, but he is not so famous for you that is young. It's for all us older people. It was Raoul Wallenberg, and I didn't know. If I have not done my DNA, I should have not known that we are related. He is in my family tree, but not so close to each other. His father died 3 months before he was born, Raoul Wallenberg. He was born in 1912. Yes, when the Titanic get down also, the boat. It was much that happened in that time. And there was Olympic Games in Sweden, 1912. And he grew up not with his biologic father, but his mother remarried to another noble man, von Dadel. I think it's a picture that is called von Dadel, or if he was a painter, I don't know. I have not researched it because he is married in my family tree. But Raoul Wallenberg, he is from this unknown grandfather's father, and what they were. If you have listened on this episode, I was talking about that my aunt did pay Vadstena, the archive, historic archive, and for them to do a family tree for my aunt. She wanted to see if she was royal, because her husband was royal, from Denmark royal, and he bragged about it, her husband. So she got angry and was thinking, I must have some royals in my family tree. But when they get the family tree back, based on books, not DNA, because this was in the late 70s. And my mother showed me the family tree that was done, and I I sit down and I wrote it up, all people there. I did a copy of it by hand, text it. It was no copy machine in that time. So I wrote it down. And my mother says she was very sad that we had no royals in our family tree. Because it was the only, it was a farmer. It says farmer, the whole. It's only farmer everywhere. All is farmers. My mother said, disappointed, thinking about this farmer that working hard in the soil and don't have so much money, working, and don't have much money. And my mother was, I don't know how it can be that my mother was like first class lady, that she didn't felt that she belonged to normal people, that she was higher up. But the paper didn't show that for her, and she was very disappointed. She felt that she was royal in her, but the paper, the books didn't show it. And then I have told you this, that they write farmer, but the farmer in Swedish, bonde, that was a noble surname. They had that name, like translated in English, farmer. So this is connected to Raoul Wallenberg, bonde, the farmer. That was not farmer. But of course they own very much big properties, big houses, and they, of course, in that time, they in the past, they had to have a farm to could eat food. So they were farmer, but the surname was farmer. And this is where I am connected with Raoul Wallenberg. And it's on his father's side that passed away. And Raoul Wallenberg, you that don't know who he is, he was the man that saved the Jewish people in the Second World War. He have helped most Jewish people than anyone else. He was outstanding. He was laying on the train wagon, and then he passed by. I read a protection passport. It means that they were in process to be Swedish citizen, and this could only happen if because Sweden was neutral. We were not in the war, in the Second World War. And it's what I have said before, that there is always winner and loser in a war. It's not only loser of that the people lost. My aunts, my mother's sister, they become very wealthy under the Second World War. because they have restaurants and they do. They were in the black market and buying food from the farmer and sell it for very expensive. And there was always we had in the Second War, but the Swedish people had like coupon. It's only for they could only buy a certain amount of food or of products of this. I don't know if it was monthly or they have one pile of it at home, and but the people with money they gave my aunts money to buy things that they were not allowed to buy, like alcoholic things, and they got the money saved up. So they be very, very, very wealthy. So that they were winner in the Second World War, and so Raoul Wallenberg was laying on those train wagon. He was diplomat for Sweden, and he was sent to Hungary to help the Jewish people. They were going to Auschwitz, those people in the train, and he was passing out. It's a 10,000 pass, like temporary passport, that they belong to Sweden, these Jewish people, and they built up an area in Hungary where Jewish people could escape to, and they were on the Swedish ground in Hungary, and they got the passport to escape to Sweden, and that's why we have very much Jewish people in Sweden, and so it's sad that Raoul Wallenberg was taken by Russia in January 17, 1945. So it was so close for him that the war had been over and he had been okay, but he was taken by Russia, and he disappeared. No one know what happened with him. Only the Russia people in the government knew what had happened with him. And the Russia is saying that he died in 1947 in the prison. But they can say whatever. It was fake lies in that time also, like it is today. So that was something that it's a spirit here. I hope we get a visit of Raoul Wallenberg. I have a bird in the garden, so I want him not to take things from me. So there is a spirit here, very strong. strong. He maybe didn't left in the night. He maybe have been with me the whole morning, and I don't know. I don't see him yet. Yeah, and now I see him. I see him now. That's Raoul Wallenberg. He's showing his body. I don't know. I have not met him, and I think I hardly have seen him in like a movie, in a film. I don't know how he looked like. But he now when I can see him, he's bowing a little forward with his body. He is something with his back that maybe he is showing how he died. Maybe is it something that because he doesn't look like a diplomatic, the bird come back again. It seems like it's a young bird that doesn't understand to stay away. And so I think he's showing me how he died. He looked like he's starving, and he looked like I think that he is saying this, that because he helped the Jewish people, then he should be treated like Hitler did with the Jewish people. I have to open the door because the bird is coming back for the third time. So I hope he don't disturb. But he have maybe something. It have something with the spirit to do with this. I think it's the name of the bird is magpie in English, and it have something with Raoul Wallenberg to do, because he is saying this, that the birds got more to eat than what I got to eat, he say to me. So they starving him to death. So they treated him like they did with the Jewish people in Auschwitz, that they didn't get so much food. Those that was working outside the camp, there was, because I have been in one of the next biggest camp. Auschwitz was the biggest, and then I was in Munich, outside there, to a camp, the second biggest camp. And I saw these people that they use men to pull the wagon out around in the city, the closest city. And those pictures showing very wealthy men, healthy men. Sorry to say they were not wealthy, but they were healthy. So those that was working, showing up outside the camp, they were fed normally. So they will have much muscles, and they were strong men. And people saw those men pulling the wagon on the street, and was thinking they maybe was fed better than these people in the city. So they thought they have it okay in the camp. So you have to understand that how they Hitler lied for the people in that way. Behind the closed door, you that have been abused, behind the closed door, everything can happen. But outside, be with other people, they are very nice, these abusive persons. So that's the same thing, that people didn't know what's going on behind the camp door. I have been in there. Dachau. The name of the camp where I was in, it was Dachau. So I know what I'm talking about. And so that's what he want to say. He want to explain, and it's going down the Jewish DNA, and Raoul Wallenberg, he have compassion, because I think he felt like my mother felt that she was royal, that Wallenberg, he felt that he was Jewish, so he helped his people, and you can tell that he doesn't look Swedish. Of course, most people come from Germany, of these royal people, because Sweden had Germany, north of Germany, for some years. So there was born in Germany people that was in reality was the Swedish. And then when they lost Germany, they moved back to Sweden and bring with them the children that was made in Germany. I want to wait for Raoul Wallenberg to say something, but he say I should move on to tell you that 2016, I repeat myself many times, because I'm going back to remember and get more knowledge by thinking of what have happened in the past, that make me be in this God's plan for my life and for the world, to understand more of it. So I go back to 2016 when I was in Jerusalem, and before I left Sweden, I wrote on Facebook, is it something I should look at or visit in Jerusalem, in Israel, somewhere? I say, because I know I had got it from God that I should go to Holon and visit this famous author of the tribes of Israelite Samarian tribe, visit him. But that was only for, I was thinking one day and I should be there. I think I was 1 week there in Tel Aviv. And so I wanted to know what I should do when I was in Israel. So I got from someone, and I don't know who it was, that was sending me that I should visit the FOZ FOS, the Friends of Zion Museum. I didn't know what it was, but I took it, and then I bought a ticket on internet to visit this museum. You couldn't go in there into the museum. You have to booking ticket to come in there. And so I did it without reading about it. I don't know why I didn't check it out, what museum it was. I only took it, so it must have been a spirit way to tell me that I should go there, because I don't. It was like when I escaped from Sweden to United States in 2000. I was not thinking. I was not stopped the bills to come, and didn't sign me out from Sweden and nothing. I only go there, and it was the same 2016. And then I come to this museum, and it was this Friends of Zion, and I didn't know what it meant, because I was not into Jewish things in that time. And I got the message that in the museum, that I should do my DNA. But today, the Spirit is touching me now when I say this. Today I understand what the DNA belonged to do my DNA. It was because in the museum, it was about people that have helped the Jewish people under the First and Second World War. And it was like a movie about those people that have helped the Jewish people. And then it was Raoul Wallenberg in that movie, and those other have helped, maybe 100, maybe it was 1,000 the most someone had helped. And it was like a nurse was going in there on her bicycle into the camp, and when she took one child at the time on her bicycle in her bag she had. Behind her she had a big bag, and say it was for equipment for to do things for the people there. But instead she took one child out each time when she left the camp. And so she maybe got out 50 children. And but Raoul Wallenberg, it was maybe 10,000 or 100,000 people that he helped to escape the killing. of Jews. And so he was a very big part of the movie. And I didn't know when I watched that movie that I was connected to him, that we were in the family tree together, that we have DNA between us, the same DNA between us. I didn't know, so that I understand today that it was not only that I should do my DNA, it was to make me understand that I was a part of Raoul Wallenberg's life and in the DNA, and then also that I was Jewish, and the museum was about me. So it was very much in that museum that I didn't understood, but I'm thankful for today that I never questioned it. I was to the website, and then I pay for the ticket and put up the date for when I should come there. I have already bought a flight ticket to Israel because I knew I should meet this author, so I knew when I could be at the museum. And I live in Tel Aviv at a hotel there, and it was in Jerusalem, this museum. So to be really sure that I come in that time, I took a taxi between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. So the taxi driver bring me there in time, very much in time. I told him another time because I'm used to travel and to say a little earlier than what I should be there. So I could eat some food in the museum and sit. And I have done some video from that museum also. When I sit and eat, I talk because it's in Israel there is Wi-Fi, there is internet most everywhere. So I was sitting and did live broadcasting on Facebook in Israel. So I'm wondering if he want to say something more. He's saying this, that I want the young generation to remember me and remember the suffering of the Jewish people. He's saying that, and that he tell you that is young that doesn't know him, that you should look at about his profile, who he is, and I'm going to write his name so you can search on him a little by yourself and see what's going on. It was in Hungary. He was not in Germany. Hitler had Hungary, so it was the same thing, but it was in Hungary. It happened with the Raoul Wallenberg. And so thank you for listening, and I will write you more information about Raoul Wallenberg. He don't want to be forgotten, he come here for you to understand this was reality in his time. It's not fake things like it is today in many things. This was reality, and I can have a testimony. I was in Dachau, in that camp, and I was into those house where they were sleeping, and I saw how it looked like. And this camp should, I remember that the guide was telling us that it was built, Dachau was built to could have 3,000 people in this camp, but it become to be 30,000 people in that camp. So you can understand how tight it was to be there and how to sleep there when it was made for 3,000 people, and they put in about 30,000 people in the camp. So I have a witness about it on my own, and as I can speak some German, but my daughter's father, he is excellent in Germany. So we were in Munich, and we were talking to people, and there was people that didn't want to talk to me because they saw I was Jewish. I didn't know that they had the eyes to see that I was Jewish. So and my daughter's father, he had blonde hair and blue eyes. So they come, and he got free beers for people, and they say that it was a common man to tell him that you are blonde and you have blue eyes. You are one of us, he was saying to my daughter's father. And he didn't say anything because he loved to hear that he was great. And that man, he didn't look at me, he didn't say hey to me or anything. He sit with his back from me, so he couldn't, so he didn't need to see me. So I have met people that have told me that I was Jewish. I told you about that angel that come at the bus station and sit, and she was telling me that you are from Israel, she said. Certainly. I didn't know anything about where I'm coming from more than I'm coming from Sweden. So it had been sign about it that, and then when I was child, my brother, he had blonde hair and gray blue eyes, and even when we were born after the Second World War, the doctor write in the paper that my brother was perfect child, and in my paper they say I was not perfect child because I have those other colors, that I have gray brown eyes, and I have never been really blonde either, but I changed the whole time the color of my hair because my mother had almost black hair, and my father was blonde. So sometimes I can be very light in my hair, and sometimes very dark in my hair. I have a mix of it in my hair without I can see it. But sometimes it's coming the blonde, sometimes it's coming the dark in my hair. So as he's waving now, he is leaving now, and now he doesn't look like he's starving. He's on his way to heaven again. Very, look very healthy the more he disappear. So I thank you for have visited me in the night and visit us now and explain what happened to you in the Russian prison. So, and the bird is gone now. It was here 3 times, just at the window, and it doesn't come back. So it was a sign that Raoul Wallenberg did to explain what happened to him. So I thank you for listening, and God bless you in everything you do. And I hope you coming back to listen at more. I maybe get more visit in the night, but they say I read a little about Raoul Wallenberg to have something to say, and it says that he was a shy person. He was very inside, invert. He was invert person and didn't say so much, and that's why it was okay for him to come in the night, because he didn't do what I told you, that I only knew he was coming through, but I don't remember that he said something. So it fit on him, this, also what they describe him to be. So thank you for listening.